Welcome everyone and thanks for joining us. I'm Emma from the operations team here at Gireve, and I'll be leading this webinar about why and how roaming can be an opportunity for your company. We'll first get to know who Gireve is and how we fit into this ecosystem. Then we'll see who the other players of this ecosystem are, how they interact, and how Gireve can support them. More specifically, we'll look at 4 ranges of services related to roaming activities and strategy insight. Our goal is that at the end of this presentation, you have a better understanding of the services offered by Gireve along the electromobility value chain. So let's start with who we are. Gireve was created in 2013 by 5 shareholders: Renault, Compagnie Nationale du Rhône, Enedis, EDF, and Caisse des Dépôts. It was decided that Gireve's roadmap was to anticipate the needs for services related to public charging by answering the questions EV drivers ask themselves the most. Where can I find terminals to charge my vehicle? And what are the conditions that I must meet to be able to connect and pay for my charging session? To achieve this goal, we started in 2014 with the creation and enrichment of a French database of charging facilities, the EPOI database, that we have first deployed in France in 2014, then in Europe since 2016. These databases, which are subject to quality control, allowed us to launch the first roaming services in 2017. At the same time, the French Fund for the Ecological Modernization of Transport joined Gireve's group of shareholders. Since then, we have continued to develop and expand our services, which has led to more than 2 million drivers using our services through more than 375,000 connected charging points. This is all possible thanks to the help of our teams. We have an international team with gender equality of more than 50 people dispatched through different task forces, including operations, IT, and innovation. We also have a flexible IT backup team that maintains and develops our services and products. With our constantly upsizing team, we are able to bring you services that are always updated and fitted to match the market's needs. So let's dive into the services we can offer you. We'll have a look at our route activities and talk about some of our products. As far as the market exists, there are 3 ways for the driver to get access to a charging station and for the operator to get paid. The first and most common kind of services, meaning that it's often used in other contexts as well, is direct payment. This access requires that each station integrate a payment terminal. So the pros are that as a driver, you pay as you go, meaning that you don't have to possess several EMSP cards to access a charging service. However, the cons are that as an electromobility actor, you can't provide dedicated benefits. The second and less expanded service is an access provided through a dedicated RFID card by the owner of the stations, who can also be the one to operate the stations. This access is limited to the stations of one operator, giving EV drivers a very limited charging station scope. Unless EV drivers live within the area of these stations and don't use a car other than for short distances, there are no big benefits for this option. In fact, this service was mostly used when the range capacity of cars was very low. With technologies that allow an autonomy of more than 300 kilometers, this kind of service is not so relevant anymore. Also, it results in the user having to always carry several subscription RFID cards. Then the main service, and the one that interests us today, is roaming through EMSPs. As a reminder, an EMSP is an electric mobility service provider. Roaming will allow users who have subscribed to one EMSP to access all stations of charging point operators the EMSP has concluded an agreement with. EV drivers only need to carry one card, have one subscription, and can access all charging stations. So let's have a look at how the roaming process works. The owner is the one that has invested money into the station. The owner of the charging point can ask for the help and or be himself the charging point operator or CPO. The CPO is the one that will manage the access to the charging station. In order to do that, the CPO needs information provided by the back office provider. So the back office provider is the one who will monitor the charging points. He will provide the CPO with data like availability and busyness statuses, authentication and authorization processes, charging sessions details, etc. The owner, the CPO, and the back office provider can be separate entities, or they can be the same entity. In order to open access to roaming services, the back office provider must communicate with a roaming platform like Gireve to send charging points information to the market. And the CPO must have an agreement with Gireve so that he can publish an offer on the roaming market. Once this is done, an EMSP must communicate with Gireve through a backend provider, like the CPO does, to be able to receive the station data. And the MSPs must also have an access with Gireve, an agreement with Gireve to access the CPO's offer published on ConnectPlace. So overall, Gireve facilitates communications between EMSPs and CPOs. Through Gireve, an EMSP can conclude a roaming agreement with the CPO, and a CPO can get a better visibility of its activities. So to sum up, for CPOs, roaming services facilitate the access to EMSPs, and roaming allows EMSPs to provide a wide range of services to their subscribers who gain access to more charging stations. Let's now talk a little bit more precisely about some of our services. There are three main services dedicated to roaming charging processes and one kind of service dedicated to dynamizing roaming services and to overall promote electromobility. Our business services include access to our marketplace with public offers, a contractual template, and online signing of roaming agreements. Our roaming services include management of data flows on open protocols and APIs to locate EVSCs and much more. Our clearing services include automated calculation and control of the charging sessions prices, a generation of B2B invoices for CPOs, and much more. Consulting services include strategic advisory missions, training sessions, and call for projects. To benefit from our services, you first need to get your backend connected to Gireve. Once it's connected, you need to subscribe to Gireve Services package, which will allow you to edit and publish your roaming offers on the ConnectPlace if you're a CPO, and to sign roaming offers if you're an EMSP. So once you're onboarded, you can fully take advantage of our services, which we are going to dig more into right now. So one of our roaming services is in regard with data. Having a connection to a roaming platform like Gireve will allow you to get access to managed data, localization, configuration, etc., that is fully updated nearly every month. We are talking about more than 375,000 accessible charging points. This service will also allow you to get charging point status, busyness, availability, out of order, etc. As a CPO, you can also publish a roaming offer on the ConnectPlace and allow EMSPs to sign it thanks to our marketplace. This marketplace has several options to speed up the agreement process. For the CPO, an agreement template is already available so that it facilitates the addition process and the signing process for the EMSP. For the EMSP, finding the right offers and services is made simpler with several research options like a dynamic map, tariff descriptions, filtering offers by different kinds of services, and charging point description. We also provide services in order to simplify roaming management with clearing services. For example, a product check and bill checks charge details records and can alert you if a CDR, a charge detail record, is not compliant with Gireve standards. which are also expected by the EMSPs. We'll check whether it is technically compliant, meaning is there a number in a field where a number is expected and not a letter, for instance? Is it compliant with the roaming agreement, meaning does the CDR contain all the data needed to be able to calculate the final price, and is the total cost correct? In the event where a charge detail record has discrepancies and that we detect them, Gireve provides you with a dedicated channel to discuss with the CPO or the MSP in order to solve the problem before any invoices are raised. So no more credit notes are needed. With our roaming services, check and bill and dispute services, you can focus on deploying your business. Which leads us to present you very quickly some of our consulting services. For example, as a CPO, you're looking to expand into new areas of location or services, such as charging power. Gireve can provide you insights that will give you all data needed to guide your strategy. And if you need to get the upper hand on a specific market, or if you want studies that can drive your location research, Gireve also provides full studies based on real charging sessions data in order to estimate the activities or the needs, and external data such as socio-demographic data to estimate the needs in the near future. So based on your activities and or main products, we'll conduct a study on a specific territory in order to detect where your services will make a difference. And or based on a specific location, we will be able to give you a report including activities descriptions, our installation recommendations, and forecast of the frequentation. It can also be used to understand the activity so you can optimize an existing station. Currently, some of our clients include car manufacturers such as Volkswagen's EMSB Elli, Porsche, EMSBs such as ChargeMap, ENBW, and back office providers such as EVBox, Bosch, and many more. Gireve can therefore assist you every step of the way to develop your roaming activities. And to develop your business in the most efficient way, here are the steps that you'll have to go through with Gireve. First, be aware of the electromobility environment by a training that we can provide you. You can then get technically connected to send and or receive data that will be necessary for the drivers. Then set up an account on ConnectPlace to access all offers or to get visibility to all the MSPs. As a CPO, you can then send your network data to the EMSPs, and the EMSPs can send the CPOs their subscriber data so that the CPOs can grant them access to their stations. You'll have to conclude roaming agreements, and you can avoid any credit notes through our clearing process. And then you can solely focus on deploying your business with accurate insights. Thank you. If you have any questions, please feel free to write us at contact@gireve.com or to phone us on the number displayed on the screen.